G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we will learn how to make me. I'm very easy to make and don't take up much yarn. There's also a free written pattern if you need one, located on Claire's website. Her links are in the description box below. So let's get started on the lesson. All the yarn used in this project is from redheart.com. Redheart.com is also a great place to find lots of free written patterns, as well as inspiration for your next project. I will put the link for their website in the description box. For our supplies, we're going to need a heap of yarn, and this is just scrap stuff. It's not very big. I'm going to use the green for the body because I've got a big ball of green, so we're going to use what we've got in our scrap section. We've got little pieces like this. This could be to tie up some hair or to use for hair. You're going to use little pieces of yarn. You're going to need a yarn needle, a pair of scissors and a crochet hook to give you tight tension. This is just scraps of Red Heart Super Saver. This is a worsted weight yarn, which is equivalent to about a 10 ply. So I'm going to be using a 4mm crochet hook or a size G. If you're using 8 ply sports weight or double knit yarn, I would suggest probably a 3 or a 3.5 depending on your tension. You just need tighter tension with this project rather than loose tension. So I'm going to pop that aside, and also because I'm such a yarn hoarder and I cannot get rid of even the smallest piece of yarn, this little bag here is just full of pieces of yarn that are not long enough to do the centre of a granny square, so that'll give you an idea of how long they are. They're not very long at all. Even sort of little pieces like that in there as well. They're great for hair, and they're also great for stuffing if you need some stuffing for a project. So I don't know if I'll use any of that bag, but I've got that there if I need to use smaller pieces of yarn. Like I said, it's great for hair, it's great for stitching on a face, or even on other projects, attaching flowers to things. And yes, I'm a yarn hoarder. I know I am. This project, we're going to start with a slip knot. You can chain 4 and join if you prefer that method. So wrap the yarn around your fingers, grab hold of the loop, crochet hook into the middle, pull up. And chain 1. There are different ways to do that. That's just how I do mine. And this project, depending on what thickness of yarn you're using, I'm going to start with 7 single crochets. If you're using thinner yarn, so if you're using 8 ply, you could start with 8 or 9 or 10, depending on the size of the finger that you want to make it for. So the stitches in this project aren't critical, so if you need to adjust the sizing, you can do different amount of stitches into the first round. So that's 1 single crochet. You could also use a half double crochet into the center, into the center, pull up a loop, pull through. I'm going to do that for 7 stitches. And I think I've gone too many, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, way too many. But like I said, if you need to do a different amount, that's fine. And this is worsted weight yarn, so if you're using thinner yarn, you may want to do a few more. So I'm just going to pull that reasonably tight, just so I can work into the middle. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. Once we've got our stitches, I've got 7, you may have a different number, doesn't really matter. We're going to work a single crochet into the first stitch. We're not going to join, we're going to work this in a spiral. So going into that first stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochets. And in each stitch around, so I've got 7 stitches, I'm going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So if you started with 7, you should have 14 at the end. So whatever number you started with, you're going to have double when you've done your second round. And if you have more or less, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, this is a great project. It doesn't need to have an exact stitch count. I actually have 15 stitches. But you know what? We're going to keep going because, like I said, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to pull that again. So from now on, we just do 1 single crochet in each stitch. And that's the beauty of crochet. I've got not exactly the right amount of stitches that I said I should have, but with this little project it really isn't going to matter because, well, it just doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm not perfect. Didn't think I was, did you? So 1 single crochet in every stitch, and then basically what we're going to do is we're going to keep crocheting until we get this tube. So at the moment it's sort of like a little tiny round circle. Round circle. Of course it's round if it's a circle. And we're going to keep going until this little disc fits our finger, and it'll turn into like a tube. And we can put our finger in there. Some projects that you're doing crochet don't have to be exact. So that's good, like this sort of thing. You can, you know, if it's 1 stitch out, it's really not going to matter because you're not going to notice. So continue on. I'm thinking I'll probably need to do about 10 rows. Rounds, sorry, 10 rounds to get over, big enough to go over my finger. So this is probably too big for my tiny little fingers, but the good thing is if there was a bigger person using it, so that will be sewn in. I'll just pop that in there. If there's a bigger person needing to use it, then that's all good. But if you want to make them for little people, start with fewer stitches here, or do fewer increases in the top there. So we did 2 stitches, which is an increase in every stitch around. Maybe try every 2nd stitch, and that will make the top of that smaller. So just keep going, like I said, until you've got enough to cover your finger, or like I said, if it's for a little person you probably won't need as many rounds as a big person. So I'll meet you in just a moment. I've got 12 rounds on my finger puppet. I think that's long enough because if you're going to add a dress or something, you can add that and that will give it some length. Like I said, you can make it any length that you like. I'm going to snip that off. And I might just slip stitch into the next stitch just to finish that off a bit neater. Okay, so we've got our little body. Now, what can we do? Let's give her, this is going to be a girl. I'm just grabbing the next available colour that's just sitting to the side of me. I'm going to join it into one of the stitches. I'm going to single crochet. I'm going to do 2 single crochets in every stitch around. And this will make, after we've done a few rounds, a frilly skirt. And of course, if you want to make a longer skirt or a dress, you keep going. You just keep adding more rounds. So do 2 single crochets in each stitch till we get back to here. When we get to the end, we're going to join into there. Now, I'm going to change colours, so that's why I'm joining. If you wanted to continue on with the same colour, you probably don't have to join. You could just continue on in a spiral. But my yarn is just about to run out, so I'm going to change colour. So I'm going to grab the orange, and I'm going to join the yarn, not where that's coming out of. I'm going to go around the other side so I can crochet over both tails as I come around. So I'm just joining that into there. And I'm going to single crochet once in every stitch around. If you wanted to make your skirt really frilly, you could increase again on this round, so do 2 single crochets in each stitch, and that will make it really frilly. Experiment with long and short dresses or skirts. So I'm just going to do this all the way around, and I'm going to work over my pink tail as I get to it. Continue on until we finish that round. And I just slip stitch to join like we did on the previous round, and then I've just finished off. It's looking very cute. It looks like a little hat. So my skirt just flares out, and of course if you want it, like I said, to ruffle, you need to put more increases in, and that'll make it ruffle. So now we want to put some hair on her. What can we do for the hair? We could go, I'm going to get some of that little pieces of yarn. Just grab some pinks out of that bag that I showed you. They're just shorter pieces. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim up the yucky end, and then I'm going to add some hair. I'm going to put some long hair on her. So we're going to use little pieces of yarn. This one's about 5 inches long. And to add the hair, you go into the stitch and just out the other side like that. Pull through, and the loop and the ends, you pull the ends through the loop, making sure they're both the same length, and then just pull tight. Hello. So then we just do that for all the pieces of yarn that we have. Again, I'm just going to trim the ends. Okay, you know how I said I was a yarn hoarder? When I trim my ends off, I have a jar and they all go in there. And then when I'm finished, I go and spread them in the garden so that the birds can put them in their nests. And yes, I'm a little crazy like that. But the birds will have colourful nests. So I'm just going to add all these pieces of yarn and give her some more hair, and I'll meet you in just a sec. So we have some hair. She's got a few different streaks in there. And what we're going to do now is give her a mouth. I've got some red yarn. This is like way too much than what I need, but I'm going to leave it attached. We're going to go underneath with our needle. We're going to find where we want the top of the mouth. It's going to come out through there. We're going to keep pulling I'm going to leave a little bit to sew in. Then we're going to work downways. So I'm just going to then go back up underneath and come out on the other side where you want the mouth to come out. Pull that through and then put it down where the bottom of the mouth is there. And then I'm going to pull on the short piece and just want to make it look more like a mouse, and then we can tie off the ends inside. And to make the eyes, I've made one of these a long time ago. I have another video which was when I very first started teaching, and I actually got a texter or a felt tip pen. I'm not sure what you call it in your countries, but let's just say this is a felt tip. And I got the felt tip and just went into one of the stitches like that, and then just twisted with the colour that I want the face. Sorry, the eyes. So I think I might have used black, which isn't an eye colour, but I could have used blue. I really can't remember. But you can also draw on the mouth, and you can like just shade a little bit for some makeup. She's so cute. She hasn't even got eyeballs yet, but she's very cute. So I'm going to snip that. And I will need to turn that inside out and sew in those ends. But I'll just leave that there for the moment. And for her eyes, I'm not very good at stitching on anything, so we'll see how we go. Just threading my blue. I've got a little bit of blue, there's not very much on there. Again, we're going to go up underneath and come out where we want her eyeball, or his eyeball, depending on what you're making. Again, leave a tail. What we're going to do is going to capture, because if we go back down in the same hole, it's not going to work. It's going to pull straight through. Hopefully this works. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you know it did. Yep. And then over the other side. Oh, she looks cute. And then see how there's that little bit here, that bit there, and I'm going next to it, so when it goes back through, it's not going through the same hole. And don't pull too tight, otherwise the eyeballs will disappear. And yeah, it should look a bit odd. So again, I'm just going to pull that out, so pull that off, and I'm going to sew those ends in. You could get little pieces of yarn. What's that yellow? Hang on, here's some orange. You could divide the hair. You could tie it up in little pigtails. You could put it around the back, put it in a ponytail. There's all different things that you can do. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I think this video was very cute, easy to use up all those little pieces that we have laying around from our scraps. Please share your creations on our Facebook page. I would love to see what you've come up with the finger puppet. Also share them on Google+. All the links that you need are in the description box. We have a newsletter on Bob Wilson 123. I will put all the links for that as well. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crochet!